So November 2018 is when we officially finished paying off our $125,000 worth of debt. What that means is it has now been a year since we became debt-free. So here's some ways that our life has changed in the past year. Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Allison and this is Baby Stepping to Freedom. On this channel, I share all about my financial journey with my husband Aaron as we paid off our debt, saved up our emergency fund, and are now working towards funding our retirement, paying off our house, living life. So if that sounds like something you might be interested in, make sure you scroll down and press the red subscribe button so you don't miss any upcoming videos. So although in the last year our life has stayed the same in some ways, it's also drastically changed because we're keeping our money instead of giving it to everyone who loaned us money. And that is a big change for us. The biggest change is that in the last year, we have saved $30,000 in an emergency fund for anything that could come up. As of right now, we have not had to use our emergency fund, knock on wood, and we are realizing now what it feels like to be prepared for things. So emergencies feel a lot less scary when you're ready for them. It doesn't mean that emergencies don't happen, but maybe they're not as big of a deal or they don't really feel like an emergency because you're prepared. It's not this big deal that you're not sure how you're going to deal with and you're just taken over with the emotion of how you're going to pay for something. An emergency fund really takes that fear away. And although we haven't had a big emergency that's come up that we've had to use our emergency fund, I know that having that money set aside just takes off so much stress of what could potentially happen or how we would deal with a big issue that came up. And that is just a life-changing feeling. So having that emergency fund and feeling prepared for whatever might come our way is the biggest and best feeling and change in the last year. Having that money set aside, being done with it, having money to our name is mind-blowing. It's indescribable. Also, in the last year, we have worked on learning how to responsibly enjoy our money. In the past, we enjoyed money. That is true. We bought a lot of things, we spent a lot of money, but we felt the pain of it afterwards because we were spending money that we didn't have. And that really wasn't enjoyable. So although we thought we enjoyed spending money, we really didn't. We didn't like the feeling that came with the way that we were spending. So now we're learning what it's like to save for something, really think about what we want and enjoy spending our money. So now it's we enjoy the process. We enjoy the process of saving, of actually buying something, and we enjoy the feeling of not regretting our decisions and being okay with spending money. And it's just such a completely different way to see the world now that we're not scared of spending money and we really think about our financial decisions before it happens. Since we finished paying off our debt, we have definitely spent more money than we did while we were paying off our debt. So when we were paying off our debt, we didn't have any personal money. We didn't do a ton of fun things. We still did some enjoyable things. We went out to eat, that kind of stuff, but it was limited because we knew the bigger picture of needing to pay off our debt. But now we've worked in more of those things. We've definitely spent more money than we did while we were on our debt-free journey, but we're figuring out how to create a life that is financially responsible, budgeted for, paid for in cash, and sustainable, because we don't want to live a life where we feel deprived or we don't want to spend our money or we don't like to do the things that we're doing. We want to enjoy life and feel good about what we're doing and make decisions that work for us. So although we've been spending more money than we had in the past, we're working on creating a sustainable way of living that works for what we feel like we need, I guess. Also, a really big change is that we have been able to look into the future more. So as we were paying off our debt, we definitely did look out into the future and see, what we were working towards and picturing our future without debt. But now we can see what we're able to accomplish. We can see what life is like post debt-free journey and make realistic plans and follow through with them. So we can look 1, 2, 5, 10, 15, 20 years in the future and really see like what that's going to look like for us and make realistic plans. And that's a big change, because before, even when we were paying off our debt, we kind of knew what life might look like in the future, but it was hard to see beyond our debt-free journey because it was such a lofty goal to pay off $125,000 that it was hard to see beyond that and create some realistic expectations for our life beyond our debt-free journey. And we really tried to not think that far beyond our debt-free journey because we didn't want to get distracted and not be able to like focus on what we were doing because it was such a big feat. Now we're able to see what we're able to accomplish and make plans, and it's just such a different view of life now that we are planning for our future rather than paying for our past. So although a lot of these changes have really been a process over the last 3 years as we've been paying off our debt and just working on changing our financial habits, a lot of this has been the last year being debt-free and how that has changed our way of living. So it kind of blows my mind how much has changed in 1 year, and I can't wait to see what happens in the next year or the next 5 years or 10 years. If we've had this much change in 1, 2, or 3 years, like what's the next 10 years going to look like? I'm excited to see what Aaron and I are able to accomplish together and how we're able to better our future as a team. So as always, thank you for following our journey. I am excited to continue to share the good and the bad on my YouTube channel and on my Instagram and my blog. I hope that you enjoy what's to come now that we are in this new phase of life, and that you stick with me as we're figuring out what life is like now. Make sure, if you haven't already, to scroll down and press subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos, and I will see you next time. Bye.